My apartment is a fucking mess, just like me sometimes. Please don't judge it too harshly. I can't control it all the time. My apartment's a little bit of a mess. Please excuse me. You got me feeling a fight. You got me feeling a fight. Like how could I not think of you? Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Bedside Table. Folks? I think I've used that greeting before, possibly. If not, hey folks. I'm your host, Ellie Marie. This is the Bedside Table, episode 27. We're going to be talking about a couple of like really sweet topics. First thing we're going to be delving into is taking your time and your effort and your energy where it is appreciated. Also, I'm going to talk about this internal part of me that is just doing this really cute little thing where it's trying to run away from things that are good for me. I'm sure you can relate. So we've got a couple of really nice things to talk about in this episode. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the episode. We are super comfy for this episode. Look, even Dorothy knows it. We are soup's comf. I don't like that. I don't like that. We are super comfy. Oh, hold on. Let me get my notebook's right next to me. I'm prepared. Prepared for everything. Prepared for anything and everything that life throws at me. I wanted this to be like a super comfy episode. I mean, technically all of them are, but this one specifically because I'm like winding down and I have I did have wind down energy and then I got my freaking Delulu nighttime energy, which I should not have because I literally work at 5:30 in the morning. Okay, anyway, getting into stuff that I don't need to get into. Hi, how are you? How are you? I know I missed another week. You may have noticed, you may have not noticed. Life has been just like, I guess, busy, but just a little emotionally hectic in a way. Not in necessarily a bad way. I'm just kind of processing a lot of things right now. But anyway, that's not what this episode is about. We're talking about a couple of juicy things. And I know I already told you about them. So we're going to get right into it, baby. Let's get into it. Taking your time and your energy and your effort where it is appreciated. And sometimes that's a hard thing to figure out. Like, where is my time, energy, and effort appreciated? Who appreciates my time, energy, and effort? I think this kind of thing has come throughout my healing, where I can recognize where I'm not acknowledged, where I'm not appreciated. And basically, it's more of like a feeling. I think we can really feel it when we're being taken for granted. When we're being taken advantage of. I think we're all pretty in tune with what those kinds of feelings feel like. I think we know because it doesn't feel great. So maybe it can be difficult to recognize when we're being underappreciated. Especially if you're someone like me who really loves to give people the benefit of the doubt. Oh, I love it so much. I just love believing in people. And regardless of whether I'm taken advantage of or I'm underappreciated, I'm taken for granted, I still have this super strong belief in people, and I think it'll always exist within me because it's just one of the, sorry, there's cat hair on my face. It's one of the big components of who I am that keeps me going and that keeps me from just going into survival mode. It's like if I carry this big belief in people and I carry this love for people of just, people are human beings. They're going to fuck up. They're going to make mistakes. And that's all right. I still love them though. But I've gotten better at recognizing that I can have this big love and this big hope and this belief in people and still step away from situations and cut off connections that just aren't benefiting me anymore. Or really, I don't like using the term benefiting, but I guess I was going to say aren't serving me anymore, but I don't really like that either. It's like when you feel like you don't belong, maybe it's genuinely because you don't. That might be a shitty thing to hear right off the bat, because for a long time I really did feel like I didn't belong anywhere. But I think when we start to tap into this feeling of like, I don't belong here, I don't belong with these people, it might be because it might be because you hate yourself. That's real. It sounds really harsh, but I'm just trying to be upfront and honest about it. But it's also coming from my own personal experience. You might feel like you don't belong anywhere because you might loathe yourself. You might not think very highly of yourself. And so anywhere you are, it really just feels like, well, nobody wants me here. Nobody wants me around. That type of feeling, I think, is a different kind of heaviness than just feeling taken advantage of. I say just feeling, like they're not strong things to feel. They are. But I think not belonging because of an inner self-hatred, that kind of feeling is different from, oh, well, I'm just not appreciated here. But I think those two can kind of play in with each other, if that makes sense. I think those two feelings are similar. And I think my history with hating myself, I think the history I have with self-hatred, I think the relationship that I have with self-hatred has really helped me understand when I'm not in a place that I need to be in. I don't know if any of that made sense or if that connection resonates with you. It might. The connection between self-hatred and feeling taken for granted. But I still think it can be difficult to recognize when we're putting our time and our effort into something, especially someone, but really just anything. If we're putting our time and effort into a place, so like a job, or even like a hobby, or a friendship, a relationship, if we're putting our time and our effort and our love and our being into something, depending on like how hard we're going at something and how much of our energy we're spending on it, sometimes it can be hard to recognize that, hey, this energy that I'm giving off is not being appreciated. And I think reciprocity comes in here too, because I think it's going to be different. It's going to be different when your energy is put into like a job, or your energy is put into a hobby, compared to when it's put into another person. I think it's going to be different. The components of feeling taken advantage of or feeling underappreciated, it's going to be different with all of those things. So I guess the best way I can talk about it is if you're putting time and energy and effort into a relationship, regardless of whether it's romantic or not, because friendships count too. But I think I had this thought about putting time and energy and effort where it's appreciated. I think I had this thought because not only because I'm still going through a divorce, but also I had this thought because of like my work family. And I've never been at a job where I have felt more like welcome and appreciated. And like, it's not even necessarily that I am regularly recognized for the work that I do, because I can recognize the work that I do. I can recognize it for myself and know that I'm a hard worker. But it's just like the teamwork aspect of it all. I have such a good team. I have such good coworkers, and it's more than just, oh, good job, you're doing great at your job. We do say that to each other, which is really nice, but it's also just like this, I don't know if this is the right word, but it's like the camaraderie. I don't know why I said that 3 times. I think I was saying it, my brain was like, is this correct? But it's just like this feeling and this sense of community where we don't just care about each other as coworkers. We do genuinely care about each other, at least enough for that to be felt within the environment. And so having that, I was just like, oh, So this is kind of what it feels like to be appreciated. This is what it feels like to be valued. Oh, okay. And then, of course, I have been cultivating such beautiful friendships. I think everything in my life right now is just really pointing out to me how it feels to be valued. And if you're having to question, but again, if it's coming from a place of self-hatred, it's going to be different, because that's you not valuing yourself. That's different. So, but if you're in a place where you have built some self-value and some self-worth for yourself, I think it's easier after you've done that work for yourself to then recognize when a relationship, when an environment, when something is not treating you well, that is something that is not good for you. I think it's easier to recognize when we're not being valued, we're not being appreciated, when we have learned to at least value ourselves to some degree. But I just think everything in my life right now helps me recognize and helps me feel what it's like to be valued and to be appreciated. And like, it does feel like my time and my effort and my energy is where it should be. Even with this podcast too. Like, I don't get very many comments, but when I do, it completely fills my heart. And it really just makes me feel like I am valued here. And a lot of what I do on the pod is just, I try to create this space where we can all feel a little bit of that. I hope that I can spread a little bit of value to everyone who tunes in. And I hope I help all of you feel a little more valuable. I wish I could give you all gold stars because you're beautiful. But genuinely, I want this to be a space where everyone who meets this space meets something within themselves that just feels good. We don't have to necessarily name what it is that makes you feel good, but if being here with me and watching the podcast makes you feel good in some type of way, I'm doing my job. I am living my life's purpose. But yeah, I have so many beautiful friendships, and I just have so many beautiful things in my life right now. And I'm so incredibly grateful and happy to have them. But yeah. So take your time, your effort, and your energy where it is valued, where it is appreciated. Take yourself to places where it does feel a little bit like family. Because like the term work family, I was always just like, ew. Hello, you're my coworkers. We're not a work family, but like, I've had some really good teams before. I've had some really good employees with previous jobs, but with this one specifically, I'm like, this feels like community more than just coworkers. So take yourself somewhere where it feels like community to you. Take your time, effort, and energy somewhere where you don't have to question whether or not you're valued and appreciated. Like with my besties, I never question whether I'm valued or appreciated with them, because they tell me how much they care about me. They express to me on a regular basis how much they care about me. They express wanting to spend time with me. And that's like, I'm like, okay, like, yes, I'm valued and appreciated here in this friendship, in this relationship. I'm valued and appreciated because I don't have to question it. I can feel it. So take yourself where you feel a sense of community. Take yourself where you don't need to question whether or not you're valued or appreciated. Take yourself where it feels warm and fuzzy for you, and it makes you feel good about yourself and good about your life, and it makes you have this sense of gratitude for what you have and where you are. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Oh my goodness, my cat is getting super comfy. I'm sorry. She keeps trying to get comfy and I keep moving around. Sorry, monkeys. Okay. Next. Oh boy. Okay. So this came up. Let me say it first. There is a part of me that is actively trying to run away from good things in my life. So I had an experience this past weekend and I spent some time with a special person in my life, and it was an experience that personally, it was a really good experience. I had a lot of fun and I really did enjoy myself, and I'm trying to talk about this delicately, because this person watches my podcast. I'm trying to talk about it delicately. Oh gosh, how do I speak about this? I'm just gonna try not to think about them and just speak about my experience with it, because that's what this is about. But okay, sorry. I had an experience this past weekend, and I spent some time with someone who's special in my life, and the time that I spent with him, it was extremely nice, and I felt really good spending this time with them. But as I've talked about before, I haven't gone into too much depth. I mean, I did make a podcast episode about my marriage and a bit of the difficulty of navigating that. But literally the past 6 years of my life, I have been emotionally and psychologically manipulated and abused. And so there's this really good thing in front of me, right? And it's literally right in my face. It's there in my face. And it's there's no doubt about how this person feels. And there's no doubt about how it makes me feel. But there's this part of me that is actively nope. Actively we've got to run away from that. Because we know where this leads. We know where this leads. And we know the trouble this is going to get us in. We're going to get fucking hurt. We're going to get manipulated and abused. And I'm just no. But I also have to recognize this part of me, because it's this is the part of me that was really hurt. And it's interesting because even me myself, I hadn't recognized how much I was still processing. I knew that I was processing a lot still. I knew that I was still going through some feelings. But it was this experience with this person and everything that they were saying and doing. And I was just whoa, there's still a lot there. And not in terms of it's not it's in terms of there's still a lot there, as in there's still hope for me and my ex. No. Very funny. But just in terms of I went through a lot of shit these past 6 years, even more than 6 years, but specifically when it comes to what I went through within my marriage, it was 6 years of a lot of shit. And that's not going to be something I'm going to easily be able to, process and heal from. That's something that's going to take time. And I'm being very intentional about moving forward from it. I'm being very, not just intentional, but mindful of how I'm moving forward from all of that. Because I do allow myself to process what I feel when it comes to the ending of my marriage, and also everything that I went through in my marriage. But I just wasn't entirely aware of how much there still is. I knew it was there, but then when I had this experience this past weekend, I was it brought up some things for me personally. I was triggered a couple of times, and then it was just oh, there's still some shit there. Sorry, that went on to like a little bit of a longer tangent, but yeah. So there's a part of me that is actively trying to run away from and like push this good thing away. And it's like, I'm aware of that and I'm acknowledging that part of me that's doing that, because I understand that part of me is, that part of me is still struggling with what happened these past 6 years. And that's completely okay. Of course, there's a part of me that is still very damaged and very vulnerable and weak and very heartbroken. And I know that. So I'm giving acknowledgement and space for that part of me to exist. I'm not trying to shut it down. It's one of the reasons why I am being so mindful about how I'm approaching new relationships and new experiences in my life, is because I know that there's still all of that I'm feeling and processing. So I'm being very mindful and intentional about how I move throughout this next period of my life. But I read this Instagram post the morning after I had spent some time with this person that I had this experience with. And it said, it was literally like the universe, I'm telling you, it's like the universe was just like giving me a hug. The universe was just like, we understand and we love you and it's okay. But the post says, your traumas are never indicative of who you are and how well you deserve to be loved. And I read that at work and I cried for a little bit. And then I sat down at the desk and I cried a little bit more, because I was just thinking about everything. I was thinking about everything that I had gone through, and I gave everything. I gave 100% of myself, 100% of my I gave everything to this person that I thought I was going to be with for the rest of my life. And it's like, I know I'm not empty, but sometimes that's what it feels like, because I know how much I gave. I gave everything. So sometimes I just I feel very empty, and sometimes I feel like running away from the good things, because I'm just like, no, I can't give any more. I can't possibly give any more of myself. I can't do it. I can't do it again. And I recognize and I acknowledge the part of me that is very reluctant and careful and scared. But I also know that I'm not empty. And I also know that I have a shit ton to give. And even though I may feel weak and vulnerable and heartbroken at the moment, there's a whole other part of me that is just so fucking excited and just knows that I, first of all, would never let myself slip into something like my previous relationship again. Never again. I'm very well aware, and it kind of just sucks. It kind of just sucks, because I'm like, did I really have to do all that? I really had to, yeah, I did. Okay. It's like, I really had to experience all of that to be able to reach a point. Because it's like, you know how people talk about oh, well, it's a lesson learned, and you learned a lot of lessons and you're stronger for it. And it's like, that's all good and dandy. And yes, I did learn a lot of lessons, and maybe I'm stronger for it, but I don't fucking feel like it. I don't know about you, but it's like, okay, yes, I did learn some lessons, I know. But at a certain point, it's like, it wasn't lessons yes, I did learn some, but some of it was just pain. Some of it just really fucking hurt, and that's all it was. It wasn't me learning a lesson. It wasn't me, oh, I'm stronger from this experience. No, some of it just really fucking hurt. And I think it's important to recognize that. Because yes, of course we can take the good out of the pain. Of course we can. We can always take something good out of an experience that went wrong. But also just recognize, like, it also may have just been painful. It doesn't have to be a lesson. It doesn't have to be, oh, you're stronger for it. Nope. You can have a painful experience and it just be that. It can just be a painful experience. It's just about being able to recognize sometimes pain is just pain. It doesn't do anything for me. Sometimes it just fucking hurts. And I would like to not experience that pain anymore. It's literally one of the things that helped me walk away is just like, I can't do this anymore. What lesson? I'm not learning any more lessons. I'm growing perfectly fine without this person. I'm growing perfectly fine on my own. And I'm just hurting at this point. So, yeah. So sometimes I feel like I'm empty, but I know that I'm not. I know that I just feel like it sometimes. Sometimes I really do feel like I have given everything that I'm ever going to give, but I know that that's not true. I know that's the part of me that is really hurt. And again, I recognize and acknowledge that part of me, and I accept that there's a part of me that feels empty and feels like I will never be able to give that much ever again. But I know I will. Because I just have so much love to give, and it's not something that ever goes away. The love within me, the love within you, it's not something that's ever going to go away, and no one can take that from you. Please understand that. No one can take the love that you have within yourself away from you. Nobody can take that. No matter how much they hurt you, no matter how much they try to... Sorry, my brain went dead for a second. No, I'm kidding. Just falls asleep mid-podcast. I mean, it is the bedside table. But no one can take this inner love away from you. This love that expands and grows every step that you take, every move. Stop. I'm telling you, my brain is going on Delulu mode because I'm getting sleepy. The love within you is infinite. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's infinite. It will never dissipate. Is that the right word? I don't know. It will never decrease. If anything, it can only expand. And like these good experiences, these good friendships, these good connections, these incredible moments I've had in my life, it's just, those are the things that expand this love within me. And I'll only have more of these experiences, and I'll only be drawn toward people who are good for me in my life, because I know what kind of people I want in my life. I know what kind of relationships and friendships and experiences I want to have. Part of why I know is because I've gone through relationships and friendships and experiences that I know I definitely don't want to have. So we're not going to be doing that anymore. I deserve better. I deserve better, and I deserve and I deserve more. Not in a greedy sense, but I don't know how to put it without it sounding greedy. I deserve more. I'm a queen. No. I mean, yes, I am. But I deserve all the love and all of the good things. And it's okay to accept that for myself. I deserve all of the love and all of the good things, and it's okay to accept that for myself. It's okay to accept that. It's tough to accept that, but it's okay. Sometimes we just, need a little reminder that it's okay. Good things can happen. Good things can happen to us, and that can be all right. It can be okay. We just dip our toes in the water a little bit. We'll just take it one little tiny step at a time. Just take it one day at a time. We got this. I love you. Genuinely, I do. When I talk about this hope and this belief that I have in human beings and this love that I have, it's real and it's genuine. I feel it every single day. So, just wanted you to know that. Thank you so much for being here and for chilling with me in my comfy mode. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. There's something in my eye and it's really bothering me, but I'm going to pretend like it's not there. Maybe it'll stop if I pretend it's not there. Nope, it's not. Okay, anyway. Thank you so much again for being here. And I'll see you in the next episode. I'm going to sleep. Good night.